What if SpongeBob's niceness isn't actually a personality trait, but rather a symptom of something much darker, a coping mechanism that was always going to break? In The Abrasive Side Season 7 Episode 20, we watch SpongeBob reach his absolute breaking point, and the episode reveals a psychological truth that the show never explicitly states. Some people don't have anger problems. They have suppression problems. The episode opens with SpongeBob spending the entire night sleeping at the bus stop just to get the best spot for Glove World. That's dedication, right? But this isn't just about waiting in line. This is about SpongeBob sacrificing his comfort, his sleep, his well-being, all for one thing. For one moment where he gets to do something for himself. He's so desperate for this one day that he's willing to sleep outside, vulnerable, exposed, just to make sure he gets there. But then a random fish shows up and asks if he can cut in line. And of course, SpongeBob says yes. He doesn't just say yes, he apologizes for even having the spot. Like his presence in line is an inconvenience. Like taking a spot at a bus stop after spending all night there is somehow selfish. He acts like his own needs are inherently wrong. Like his desires are burdensome to others. Then another fish asks to cut in line. Then another. Then another. SpongeBob just keeps saying yes over and over. He watches his spot disappear, his advantage evaporate, his entire night of sacrifice become meaningless. He gets further and further from the front, and he doesn't complain once. He's smiling the whole time, apologizing to each person, treating their convenience as more important than his own survival. Because that's what it feels like by this point. When Patrick shows up expecting them to go together to Glove World, SpongeBob apologizes for not being first in line and blames himself for breaking their promise. Patrick is angry because they had a deal, a firsties promise, and SpongeBob gave that away piece by piece without even fighting back. But instead of standing up for himself or explaining what happened, SpongeBob just accepts the blame. He internalizes the failure. He makes Patrick's disappointment his own fault. He's a yes machine. But here's the thing that makes this different from every other episode: we can actually see the cracks forming. His smile is getting tighter. His eyes are getting hollow. He's not laughing anymore. This is depressing. This isn't the cheerful SpongeBob we know. And then Patrick delivers the line that breaks him.
But everyone needed my help and
You need to learn to say no. Stand up for yourself, man!
It hits different this time because Patrick's right. SpongeBob has spent the entire episode drowning in obligations, missing his own life getting hurt, and he never once stood up for himself. He missed the bus to Glove World, his one chance to have fun, because he was too busy being useful to everyone else. But wait, let's go back, because there's more happening in this episode than just the bus stop. Sandy asks him to be her lab rat for an experiment, and he says yes. She literally needs him to be a test subject for something, and he agrees instantly. Before he even gets to Glove World, before he even gets on the bus, he's already sacrificed his entire reason for being there. Then Mr. Krabs shows up at the bus stop with another demand. He needs SpongeBob to help him tell Pearl no about buying more shoes. It's not even work. It's a personal favor from his boss. It's asking SpongeBob to drop everything for something that has nothing to do with him. And SpongeBob says yes. He prioritizes Mr. Krabs' comfort over his own happiness. Then his grandma shows up needing help crossing the street. You can't say no to your grandma, right? That would be disrespectful. That would be selfish. That would make him a bad person. So SpongeBob says yes again. By this point, he's said yes so many times that saying no feels impossible. It feels wrong. It feels like a betrayal. By the time SpongeBob finishes helping everyone, his boss, his friend, his own grandmother, every single bus to Glove World has left. All of them gone. Patrick comes back from Glove World happy, having had the time of his life, and SpongeBob missed it. He sacrificed his only chance because he couldn't say no to anyone. SpongeBob is the human equivalent of a golden retriever that's been trained to ignore its own exhaustion. He's been conditioned his entire life to put everyone else's needs first, to make himself useful, to be the helper, the yes man, the person you can always count on to say yes. Let's pause here because this is important. SpongeBob isn't struggling with being too nice. He's drowning in people pleasing, and he doesn't even realize how much damage it's causing. He's made himself invisible. He's made his own needs non-existent. Every single person in his life has learned that they can ask him for anything, and he'll say yes. And they all know it. They all take advantage of it. They see him struggling and they ask anyway. So what does SpongeBob do? He makes the same mistake millions of real people. He looks for a quick fix. He can't just learn how to be assertive through practice or therapy or healthy boundaries. No, that would take time. That would take effort. That would require him to actually examine his trauma and make conscious changes. Instead, he orders a product online called the abrasive side, literally a green scouring pad that attaches to his back. It's ridiculous, sure, but it's also a perfect metaphor. He's trying to solve a psychological problem with an external tool. He's looking for someone else or something else to make him do what he's too afraid to do himself. Gary orders it for him, and when it arrives, SpongeBob doesn't hesitate. He puts it on immediately, expecting it to be the solution to all his problems. And when the abrasive side attaches to him, something shifts inside SpongeBob. He puts it on, and suddenly he feels powerful. He feels like he can finally say no. For the first time in his life, he feels like he has permission to express his frustration. Except, and this is crucial, he doesn't just say no. The abrasive side doesn't teach him assertiveness. It doesn't teach him healthy boundaries. It teaches him aggression. Complete, unfiltered, vicious aggression. When Sandy tries to get him to be her lab experiment again, the abrasive side takes over and calls her a brainless lab rat.
No can do, you brainless lab rat.
It's not just rude, it's cruel. It's the kind of insult that comes from years of bottled resentment. It's what SpongeBob has been thinking, but never saying. Same with Mr. Krabs. SpongeBob's been working himself to death for this guy taking abuse, getting paid nothing. And when Mr. Krabs asks him to work another shift, the abrasive side doesn't politely decline. It demands to be paid overtime.
Sorry, Krabs, I'm busy. Unless you're paying me overtime.
Overtime?
It stands up to Mr. Krabs in a way SpongeBob has never been able to. Even Mr. Krabs, who's heard every insult in the book, looks genuinely shocked. He treats the word overtime like it's an actual curse word. But the moment that shows the real damage is when SpongeBob confronts Patrick. Patrick, his best and only real friend. The one person who actually cares about him. The one person who's always been there, who's stuck by him despite SpongeBob's people-pleasing weaknesses. The abrasive side calls him a pink freak and tells him to leave.
Don't you remember? We told that pink freak to beat it.
It's brutal. It's unnecessary. It's the kind of attack that comes from a place of hurting others before they can hurt you. And Patrick cries. Like, genuinely breaks down crying because his best friend just verbally destroyed him. The one person SpongeBob loved most, the one person who loved him back unconditionally, just got destroyed by his words. SpongeBob's kindness toward Patrick was never an act. It was real. But the moment he puts on the abrasive side, he hurts the person he loves most, because his anger doesn't know how to differentiate between people who deserve it and people who don't. Here's what's happening psychologically. SpongeBob spent so long suppressing anger that when he finally lets loose, it doesn't come out as healthy assertiveness. It comes out as rage. All the years of saying yes when he meant no, of swallowing his frustration, of prioritizing other people's needs over his own, it all explodes at once. And because he's never learned how to express anger in a balanced way, the only mode he has is nuclear. Off or nuclear. There's no middle ground. He's been conditioned to suppress so completely that the only way he knows how to break free is through destruction. This is the critical psychological insight. When someone suppresses for too long, they don't gradually learn to express themselves. They catastrophically fail. They swing from one extreme to the complete opposite, from people pleaser to bully, from pushover to aggressor, from someone who can't say no to someone who can only say no, harshly, cruelly, without mercy. And the show doesn't let him off the hook for this. SpongeBob realizes what he's done. He sees the hurt he's caused Patrick, Sandy, Mr. Krabs, all the people who actually cared about him. His face shows genuine horror and regret. He knows he went too far. He knows he hurt innocent people. But here's the devastating part. He can't take it back. He can't just remove the abrasive side because it's physically stuck to him. He's trapped in this aggressive persona, and no matter how much he wants to stop, he can't. This is the horror of uncontrolled anger. Once it's out, you can't put it back. He begs Sandy to rip it off, and when she finally does, there's this moment of relief where you think he's going to be okay. But then the episode ends with Grandma SquarePants showing up wearing the abrasive side, and she's being absolutely brutal to SpongeBob in the exact same way he was brutal to everyone else. The cycle continues, and the trauma repeats. It's a perfect illustration of how unresolved anger doesn't just hurt the person experiencing it, it spreads like a virus. And the cycle only breaks when someone decides to do the hard work of actually processing their pain instead of looking for external fixes. So what's the real psychological lesson here? The abrasive side is actually a perfect case study in what happens when someone confuses aggression with healthy boundaries. The episode shows us the danger of the pendulum swing going from one extreme of being a people-pleasing pushover to the other extreme of being a cruel bully. Real assertiveness isn't either of those things. It's the ability to say no with respect. It's expressing your needs without destroying the people around you. It's healthy boundaries, not weaponized cruelty. SpongeBob never learned that balance because nobody taught him. He was conditioned to suppress, to say yes, to make himself smaller for everyone else's comfort. And when he finally snapped, he had no skill set for expressing anger in a constructive way. So he swung to the opposite extreme and became someone worse than the passive version. He became someone who hurts people intentionally. The real tragedy of this episode is that SpongeBob was looking for permission to have boundaries. He was looking for external validation to stop people-pleasing. But what he actually needed was internal work, therapy, honest conversations, gradual practice in saying no without guilt. Instead, he found a device that promised to fix his problem, and it made everything worse. Because there is no shortcut to emotional maturity. There's no green scouring pad that teaches you healthy communication. You have to do the hard work yourself. And that's why SpongeBob snapped. He'd been suppressing so long that when he finally had permission to stop, he didn't know how to do it right. He went from 0 to 100, from doormat to demon, with no middle ground. He hurt his friends. He lost control. And by the end, he learned that the abrasive side wasn't the solution. It was just a different kind of prison. If you made it all the way through SpongeBob's emotional breakdown and learned why people pleasers eventually snap, hit that subscribe button and click on the next video. Because where else can you get free therapy, cartoon crisis management, and a genuinely disturbing look at how suppression leads to destruction all in one place?